Hello, and welcome to Math with Mr. Bill. I'm Bill Anderson, and today I'm going to be working through a series of 6 problems to help my student get ready for his exam. Please put questions in the comments below, and feel free to post more problems there as well. On to question number 1. Explain what the following two limits mean, not simply what is said when we read them. Provide a simple graph that would show this information. What do these statements imply about f of 1? What a limit tells us is that as the x values come closer and closer to a value, the function looks like it's going to a particular value. Or sometimes it's going off to infinity, or sometimes it's going off to nothing at all. But in this case, what we read here, which is important, even though we're not supposed to simply state how we read them, it's important to know how to read them. So what we read here is that the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left is 2. So in other words, as the x values come closer and closer to 1 from the left, the function looks like it's going to 2. Now I put emphasis on the word look because it may not actually go to 2. The function itself may not actually end up at 2. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like it's going to 2. And the same thing with the second one. The limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the right looks like the function is going to 3. So that's what that looks like. And the explanation then, what you can say is that as x gets closer and closer to 1, and you have to say from the left or from the right. So if I say from the left, then f of x gets closer and closer to 2. So we're going to make a graph for this to show what this means. We won't make it too crazy. It says provide a simple graph. So let's get a coordinate plane going, and we'll put some hash marks in here. And really what I'm most concerned with is the hash mark here at 1. So that's our x value that we're getting closer and closer to. And then the hash marks on the y-axis at 2 and 3. So I know my limits now tell me that the function gets closer, the limit is 2 for one of them, and it's 3 for the other. So now I need to know what the function is doing around them, and see if I can talk about what the function is doing at 1, because that's also part of the problem. So from the left means that we're coming into 1 from the left. So we're coming this way on the x-axis. The function, I'm going to make the function red here, magenta. And the function can do a lot of things. It really, just kind of meanders here. But what I want to make sure is as I get closer and closer to 1, that the function looks like it's going to 2. And then the same thing with the other direction. So as I'm coming into 1 from the right, so I'm going this way in towards 1. So all of my x values that I'm plugging into my function are getting closer and closer to 1 from the right. The function can do whatever it wants here, but as it gets closer and closer to 1, it looks like it's going to 3. So that's what those two limits tell us. Now what can we say about f of 1 itself? Well, it turns out there's really not much we can say about it except for one very particular thing, that the function at 1 is discontinuous. It may exist at 1 somewhere, right? We could have a fill-in at 2, or we could have a fill-in at 3, or we could have some separate dot. But we don't know. We're not told hardly anything about f of 1, but we do know that it's discontinuous. So that's what we can say. F of 1 is discontinuous. Now let's go back and make sure that we've answered all the questions, and that's about it. So thank you. I'll see you in the next video.